Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, Davina's Faith. It's Davina here, and today I'm just going to be giving you guys some insight and also some business tips. You guys, most of you guys, if you have been following me for a few years, then you know that I had a business, and you know that God has showed me signs of me getting my business and showed me how to get it. Well, he showed me what it would look like, and then I went for it and I got it. But I'm no longer there, okay? And I try to make things work in different ways so that I would still have a business, like a storefront or a physical business. But that is no longer the case right now. So I just wanted to share some tips on what I would have done differently, or what I would do differently with everything that I know now, and what I plan on doing differently when the time comes back around for me to have another building or another physical location. So one thing that I would definitely do differently is to keep God first. So now, I won't say that I didn't keep God first. You know, I still had my relationship with God and all of that, but there are things I was prioritizing more than my relationship with God and my business. So, like, once things had really picked up, and this was during the time where I knew, you know, I needed help, and God was having me in transition to start hiring people. Everything was going pretty good at the shop as far as like income wise and how busy I was. Like, I was busy just about every day at the shop. You know, it was hard for me to manage to take lots of clients. Like, some people I would get walk-ins, and then sometimes I wouldn't be able to take them, and I would have to tell them to come back at a later time, or just tell them I can't do your hair. And you know, I noticed that like I was just enjoying certain parts of my life, and then also I was getting lazy. Like, okay, I needed help, that's one thing. But then around like during the summertime, like I would just be waking up late. You know, if I didn't have like somebody scheduled for the morning, I would just get up whatever time I wanted to. Sometimes I would show up, lots of times actually, I would show up late for the appointment, like having to tell my clients, you know, that, you know, we have to do this 30 minutes later. Like, oh, are you able to come at 10:30 rather than 10 a.m. just full transparency. And it was times that I really, you know, things were really happening where I didn't have the time to make it on time. There were some emergencies, but then it was sometimes where, you know, I just woke up late and I was running late, you know, and I needed the extra time to get there. So showing up late for appointments, and then say if I was kind of on time for work, my clients sometimes would get there before I would. I'll be getting there 5 to 10 minutes late, and then sometimes I would have to like reschedule the clients, and then I wouldn't necessarily leave early. I'll be there late lots of times. And just different things like that. Like, I was in prior, I once, not once, but after I started to be more steady with like income and clientele, and noticing that things were doing good, I started to get Doxy Daisy. And yeah, like I just felt like everything was good, so it's nothing to worry about. Like, I know lots of you know hairstylists, you know, and we're known for being late. Let's just put it like that. We're known for being late. And yeah, like, time management has been the hardest for me, honestly. But yeah, I would just, once things had got pretty good for me, like it was pretty decent and stable, you know, not saying that, oh, that's the end all be all, but it was cool. I would just be late lots of times, and during the summertime is where things really pick up. So yeah, I was just laxy daisy, coming in whenever I wanted to, taking days off sometimes. I was eating a lot, all of that stuff. Like, not that it's wrong to eat, but yeah, it was just not good. And I prioritize like sleep and things like that more than I would prioritize my relationship with God. So I would keep God first and then keep my business second. You know, if I was married, keep God first, then my husband / family, then my business. Okay, but I would have kept God first and then my business. Okay. Another thing I would have done differently was make sure that I prayed about everything. So I did pray about most things, but some things I didn't. Like, you know, when making certain business moves, or, you know, should I hire this person? I did pray about that, but like different things I didn't pray about. I prayed about the shop. I knew I should have gotten the shop, but like, you know, I feel like there's certain things that I could have prayed about. Like after I left the shop, I went to a suite. I could have prayed about that. Like I was just trying to like find the next best thing where I would still have a physical building. Nobody would have anything bad to say about me. So I made that quick decision to do that. You know, to get a suite. It didn't last long for multiple reasons. Yeah, so I would definitely pray more about things. Pray about everything concerning my business. Another thing I would do is not let circumstances rule me or make me stop, you know, what I'm doing in my business. So there has been things that have transpired since I have had the business. Like I had got my vehicle stolen, and during that time, like that has just put me in such a great depression, honestly, for about 2 weeks. Like when it happened, I was not like I was just so angry and was so emotional like that. It was like the lack of emotion. Like I had just became so numb. And there's a reason why I believe that I was numb rather than so stirred up. Was just like tired of certain things. And yeah, I just became so numb. I became depressed, and that caused me to not go to work. So when it happened, the day that happened, I was actually booked for the day. I had 3 or 4 clients that day, and I canceled that whole day thinking that things would be resolved, you know, maybe the next day. Not even thinking, honestly, actually. But I canceled that whole day, so that caused me to lose out on money. Plus, I even lost some clients. So I had one new client, a client that I never met before, that I had to cancel on, and then the rest were clients that I was already having. So like 2 of them came back, and then one which was a long-time client, she didn't come back when I told her what happened. Yeah, she didn't come back for over a year. And then the other one was a client that I never met before. It's going to be a first-time client, so I lost out on that money. And then not to mention, I took off after, and you know, to go to get the investigation started to see what's up with my car, see if they could save my vehicle. And even following up to that, once I got the information about where my vehicle was, decided to not keep that vehicle, going to find another vehicle. And then just the depression, you know, caused me to not have the urge to go to work. Like I didn't feel like it. Like, so it caused me to lose out on so much money, which eventually honestly caused me to lose out and to miss paying bills, paying for rent for the shop and other bills that I had that were important. So it set me back. Okay, so if I could have changed things, I would have never let that take such a toll on me. Like just making the decision in my mind to not let it affect me. Okay, yes, I might be upset. Yes, I might be hurt. Yes, I might even be numb like I was. But to just say, you know what, I gotta keep on pressing. My life still goes on. Life still goes on. I would have made that decision. And you know, once it's time for me to start again, I have to keep that in my mind to not let things like that overtake me, ruin my day, or anything like that. You have to manage your day. So yeah, that's one other thing I would do, is not let bad situations stop me from doing what I need to do. Or sometimes you need a grieving time frame, but it shouldn't be more than, I can't tell you, like if it's a grieving moment, like, you know, someone that you were close to passed away, that's something different. But a situation like mine, it shouldn't be more than a day or two, in my opinion. You know, if you want to stay steady and consistent, and, you know, let God tell you, hey, don't go back yet. Okay, something else I would do is to have a business bank account, okay, and also to enroll in payroll. So I had it in the back of my mind to enroll in payroll for myself when it was just me, but I never got around to doing it. Like, I always had all these extra things in my mind, and then it was always on the back of my mind to enroll in payroll, but I did not. So I would just keep all the money that I would make, you know, from the business, and then of course I would put some money back into the business to pay for inventory to sell, like my hair oils and the scarves that I keep, and then also of course products that I use, and then of course you know, here and there I'll buy new things for the shop to make it look decent and nice, and then I'll pay my bills, and then I'll keep whatever was left for myself, however I would decide to spend my money or to distribute my money. Okay, but I wasn't enrolled in payroll, so I wasn't correctly, even though if you have payroll, you still determine the amount yourself. You know, they don't tell you how much you should pay yourself, but I feel like having payroll is really good, because you never know when you're going to need to show, if you're going to need bank statements for anything, you know, not bank statements, if you're going to need pay stubs for anything, or you're going to need, you know, it's just more, it's better, and it's just, you know, easier to show how much money you made from your business, you know, rather than saying, oh, well, I had these deposits into my bank account and then the rest was cash. So even if you got cash along with deposits in your bank account, you can show everything if you have payroll, you know. And then also having a business bank account. I didn't have one. Okay, I do have these now, but yeah, a business bank account, I would have definitely done that as well, like to have my money separate from my regular bank account. It's really important to do that. The next thing I would do differently is to ask more questions before signing my lease. So even though I knew that that was the place that God showed me, and God did give me grace to be there, all of that, just because something is for you don't mean that you should just hop on in or just not ask any questions. And that goes for anything, whether it be a business, a house or apartment, or a partner, a spouse, a husband, wife. You still need to ask questions, and you still need to get all the insight that you could possibly have, because yeah, just because something is for you or God graced you for it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. Okay, so I would definitely ask more questions before I had signed my lease, because there were some things that were like wrong with the place that should have been included in the lease that I had to end up paying for myself. So definitely, no matter what, still ask all the questions that you possibly can. And if you want to know some examples of questions that you should ask, make sure that you check out my second channel, and yeah, I have a video link right here so you guys can check that out, and make sure to subscribe and support my second channel for business advice. Another thing I would have done was start with a plan. So when I had got my place, I didn't have a plan at all. I saw the vision and I ran for it. I'm like, okay, that's what you want to do? All right, I'm gonna take it. I don't know how this is going to be. I'm just going to take this leap of faith and just figure it out along the way. But once I saw that, I should have, you know, I should have hopped on it, looked for the place, but also take the time and sit down and then execute a plan, a business plan. So I should have thought about how I was, like, my budget that I was going to have for it, look at different things. How was I going to do certain things? How was I going to, like, everything business-wise? I should have done more research and more executing before just jumping in, or even just early on, I should have had a plan. I didn't have a plan. Another thing I would have worked on more. Not that I didn't do this at all, but I would give my clients a better experience, give my clients the best experience possible. So I did start to implement this more. Once I left from the salon into the suite, I tried to give my clients the best experience I could. At the first place, I'm professional in my, like, as far as how I conducted myself. Like, you know, I tried to be, I'm just naturally a kind, friendly, like a kind person anyway. I consider myself very polite. I try to be friendly and all of that. So I believe that I did have some professionalism outside of my tardiness. Not that I was tardy every single day, every single appointment, but yeah, that's one thing I could have worked on. But outside of that, like, I believe that I was pretty professional, but just giving my clients that luxury experience, you know, making sure that I just make sure there's nothing, like, they just love their hair. Like, I might think that it look good, but just making sure you think that it looks good, making sure that I communicate with you thoroughly to see, you know, hey, you want it like this? You sure you want it like this? Making sure that you feel comfortable, making sure that my clients have Wi-Fi. If it's in my control, I had the Wi-Fi on all the time. And I feel like I did do some of these things, but I noticed, you know, looking back, that there's some things that I was missing. So I would just work on giving my clients the best experience possible. I'm just working on learning to give my clients the best experience I could possibly have, pouring in that knowledge. And that's what I'm doing now too, pouring in that knowledge into them. I'm learning to communicate more and ask more questions, to make sure that we're both on the same page. And yeah, there's so much more I can explain for giving clients a great experience, but just making sure they have the best experience possible. Another thing I would have done was communicate more often with authority, and then early on. So once I first came into the first place, the salon in Elizabeth, I would have made sure that I communicated more with authority. So I was in communication with one of the owners, or one of the people that was of authority, and then another person came along, and we, you know, kind of butted heads sometimes, and it just wasn't that easy to wanna, like, I didn't have that urge to want to communicate with that person, honestly. But I would have communicated early on about certain things, you know, certain things that I didn't like, certain things that needs to be done. Like, they, you know, come to find out, they didn't even know certain things that was wrong with my place. At least that's what they said. And the second person of authority that ended up becoming like the head authority, you know, the person seemed like they genuinely didn't know some of the things I was saying because of their reaction. But yeah, I would have done that. And also, just like, once that bad thing happened to me, some bad things that happened to me during the time of me having the place, like my car got stolen and I wasn't able to, like, I decided not to be there, and I was able to be there sometimes too. I wish I would have communicated that early on too. It's a chance that they wouldn't be sympathetic to me, but to just give them a heads up, to know, so they know what's going on, so they could at least give me a little leeway and not charge me late fees, etc. Another thing I would do differently, or that I'm implementing now, is to post consistently. So whether that be every day or every 2 days, I'm trying, like, and this is for Instagram, to promote business. So I'm trying not to let more than 2 days go by. Like, recently I let like 2 or 3 weeks go by, but now, even if I have to repost something, even if I just have to find something that's just strictly educational, it then doesn't have any of my work, I just have to try my best to just post consistently, because that keeps your client's attention. It helps them, you know, it reminds your clients about you. Even people that aren't necessarily clients, maybe they came to you once, or their family member or loved one, they'll have you on their brains. And also, you know, I noticed that when I do post more, I do get, my clients do end up booking with me out of nowhere. Like they'll hit me up like a day or two after a post and set up an appointment. Like it just makes them remember, like, oh yeah, I need to set up an appointment, or I wonder, you know, how she's doing, let me set, whatever the case is. You know, it does keep your clients, you will be in their mind, you know, if you post more regularly. That's what I'm noticing. When I post more regularly, people do book with me more, or at least communicate with me more. Your clients, when you're not posting, you know, if they see other people's work, there's so many people out here, so many talented, creative people, it's so hard to be relevant, honestly. They see other people doing great things and you're not posting, and then they're not seeing you, like they don't live in the area of where you work, they forget about you and decide to go to somebody else that they're really interested in trying. So post consistently, you know. Another thing that I would definitely decide to have this go round is to have a team. So I didn't have a team. It was just me for the most part. Yeah, you need a team. Let's just say that. Like I noticed that I really needed a team. It was so many things that I struggle with because, or due to me not having a team, you know, I was having to send so many people out from not having enough time or enough energy to do everybody that was a walk-in. And then also you need a team for other things too, not just because you're too busy or because you have a lot of clients coming in or too many clients for you to handle, but also for other things. You know, you could, when you have a team, you give each other support, you give each other ideas, you have, you know, you need that support regardless. So having a team is just so crucial. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. If it was, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe as well, and don't forget to subscribe to my second channel where I give tons of salon education and advice. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.